Is up, mortals? It is, here with a new video for you. Welcome to Season 3 Part 1 of What If Midoriya Was an AFO Fan. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So, we begin. All for One placed a hand on Tactic Kill's shoulder, the pair overlooking the members of the League of Villains. Along with the spies Tactic Kill had working for him within multiple factions in Japan. Mei Hatsume, Chronostasis, Shin Nemoto, Curious and Mina Ashido. Smiling as he looked down on them all, Tactic Kill adjusted his tie. So glad everyone could join us here this evening. I'd like to make a few announcements before we begin. First off, I must regretfully say that Dr. Yujiko is no longer with us. It seemed the doctor could no longer handle his duties and committed suicide within his own lab. His work, however, will be continued and expanded upon in ways he could only dream. Tactic Kill's words filled the room. Only a select few knowing the truth behind Yujiko's demise, and all who knew of it also knew of his betrayal. That was the first time they'd seen someone cross Tactic Kill and what happens to them as a result. Secondly, I'd like to welcome my network of undercover agents from the current key players on the board. Thank you all for your support and cooperation with our objectives. Gesturing to the groups of spies, Tactic Kill lightly applauded their efforts gathering information from the Shy Hisakai, UA and the MLA. Each spy had a story to tell behind their loyalties to the League. Chronostasis and Shin Nemoto were approached by Tactic Kill and made to realize they were little more than tools with an expiry date to overhaul who would either kill them both or abandon them after their quirks were erased. Mina Ashido owed loyalty to the League long before Tactic Kill had joined. Her job as the UA spy planted by All for One was far more easier after Izuku had been revealed as the villain Tactic Kill, along with the various members of Phoenix Squadron being traitors too. Mei and Curious followed Tactic Kill and All for One simply out of sheer fascination for the two multi-quirk users. Thirdly and lastly, I would like to announce that I shall be taking the temporary role of the League's physician until a substitute can be found and head of Namu production. I'd additionally like to congratulate La Brava on her promotion to head of support gear and engineering. After finishing his announcements, the members of the League slowly started to applaud. Now, on to business. I have been watching the media like a hawk, and it's been a whole week since Island fell to us and more importantly All Might perished. Yet nothing has been announced about our accomplishments, at least not to the public. Now for the next half I would like to invite La Brava up to talk us through our next move, whilst I go over some notes. Tactic Kill stepped back from the podium, allowing La Brava to take center stage and continue the announcement on Izuku's plan. Yes, thank you, Tactic Kill. Well, with the assistance of Mei Hatsume and Tactic Kill, I have managed to adapt the communications system to now have global range no matter our location. This island could be in orbit and we'd still be able to access the media of every country down there. I digress. On the 15th this month, so only 3 days from now, we shall send out a live global broadcast to truly reveal ourselves to the world and not be hidden by the heroes, and more importantly tell them that All Might has been dead all this time. Now with subtitles for non-Japanese speaking countries. La Brava giggled at the last part. This truly would be the most viewed livestream she'd ever worked on. The 3 days passed and then it finally arrived. Izuku had spent most of his time in his personal labs working on a pet project referred to as the Alpha Project. The members of the League gathered on a stage, all in view of the camera. La Brava quickly joined the rest of the League on the stage. Everyone watched the countdown from 5 to 0. Upon hitting 0, the screen behind the camera read that it was recording. At that second, across the globe, every screen had their previous display interrupted by the entire League of Villains standing on a stage, all shouting, "We are here, people of the world. I am Tactic Kill and we are the League of Villains. Your heroic defenders have been lying to you all. They've been keeping secrets." Floating just to the side, Tamura passed Izuku by wearing his signature golden mask. "Indeed they have, indeed they have. Let's start with Island. It never was lost at sea. We just attacked it and made ourselves at home. Now the next part, which I also wish to share with you all, but that honor falls to another." Tamura cackled as Kurogiri opened a warp gate between him and Izuku, allowing All for One to step out and join the League. He stood tall and proud in his fine black suit and helmet, covering his face entirely from the world. "Thank you, my two young prodigies. Yes, people of the world. The heroes hide a secret from you all, one that will shatter your peace." All for One laughed beneath his helmet, and quickly his voice, Izuku's and Tamura's, all rang out at once. "All Might is dead." All for One shouted, clapping his hands. "All Might is dead." Tamura laughed with spiteful glee. "All Might is dead." Izuku called out with a sinister grin and a foul glow in his eyes. As the three villains announced this, every screen cut to an Island camera feed showing a recording of a weakened All Might shrivel up into a skeletal man who was eventually decayed by both Izuku and Tamura. The world's heroes fell silent as they watched this. So many of them had been kept in the dark about All Might's demise too. Tactic Kill smiled at the camera as he spoke. "I warned you all. A new era was coming, and just as I said." Izuku paused before everyone in the League, including All for One, loudly stated, "We will prevail." As the statement "we will prevail" rang out, a muscular woman with blonde hair styled similar to All Might's dropped to her knees in tears as she watched the TV screens that dotted the commercial area in New York. In Japan, a slender male wearing glasses and a suit dropped a heavy stamp to the ground as he watched his laptop in disbelief. Then he looked to a poster of All Might on his wall and screamed out in rage. UAS students and staff all watched horrified. That Izuku Midoriya's words from his sports festival speech was never a warning for the villains of Japan, but a warning for the heroes, and worse yet, they had just witnessed him stand beside the most powerful villain to walk Japan with confidence and pride. Within a matter of 12 hours, according to Island's database, heroes were resigning left and right across the globe. Izuku chuckled to himself as he watched the numbers of resignations rise and crime rates rise. Happy birthday to me. His glowing green eyes narrowed on the computer monitor in his room as he looked through the experimentation notes Chronostasis had given to him. Soon the green-haired son of All for One scowled at an image of a young girl covered in bandages and scars just like his own. Overhaul had a date with the Grim Reaper, and Tactic Kill would be sure to sharpen his claws blades just for the occasion. Deep within the bowels of the Hero Commission building, a meeting of heroes both from Japan and outside along with various VIP personnel gathered to discuss the new threat the League now posed. Thanks to their hard work, the Commission had gathered a large amount of intel on the entirety of the League members they knew of. Sheets of information on each villain were spread across the table for the gathered heroes and civil servants. The gathered individuals were Melissa Shield, David Shield, Sir Nighteye, Gran Torino, Nezu, G-Force, Endeavor, Hawks, Stars and Stripes, the President of the Commission, the Japanese Prime Minister, Midroll, ExpressVPN. This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN allows you to change your IP address, making it harder to track and securing your privacy. In addition to providing safe passage through the web, you can also expand the reach of your favorite streaming services like Disney+. If you are from the United States, you won't be able to watch any of the MCU and Sony Spider-Man movies, but by switching your location to Japan, you can access them whenever you want. Check out the link in the description to get 3 extra months when you purchase the 12-month subscription plan that costs $99.99 a year. This deal is for a limited time. And thanks to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. As you can see, each information sheet makes for grim reading. Luckily, the mole inside the League remains undetected. However, for sake of their safety, I will not be naming them, so they can remain in deep cover for as long as possible. But they've seen Izuku active on the battlefield and have made it clear that if he shows even the tiniest hint of suspicion, they're pulling out of cover before Izuku turns the tables on our mole. Sir Nighteye spoke clearly and concisely as he scowled at a sheet detailing All for One, whilst Inko stared at the 2 sheets marked Tactic Kill and Ragnarok. A wise move, frankly. Izuku Midoriya was a highly intelligent and powerful student whilst attending UA, and he was likely hiding his true capabilities, something his intel sheet does show. The question remains, how do we proceed? Thanks to Stars and Stripes agency mobilizing here as soon as the global statement was made, we have regained much control of the streets of Japan. Still, I would hazard a guess that the League is experiencing a growth in its ranks. If not, they are most definitely planning on expanding. Nezu sat frowning at the sheet of Gentle Criminal as Nezu had seen that thief drinking from his favorite teacup during the broadcast. The audacity of that man. Frankly, I think mine and Endeavor's agencies should launch a joint attack on Island. Take out All for One, Golden Fox and Tactic Kill for good and be done with it. Without those 3, this league of villains would turn on each other like a pack of starved rabid beasts. Plus, we take out Tactic Kill. No more Nomus. Stars and Stripes slammed her fist on the table, pulling everyone's eyes to her as she growled out her plan to deal with the League. I'm afraid it isn't that simple. When I was there, I saw that League's group cohesion. They brought me and All Might down like it was nothing. If Hisashi, Ragnarok hadn't snapped back to his humanity, we'd all be dead. Tactic Kill and Golden Fox are a force to be reckoned with, and we didn't even have to deal with All for One at the same time. Inko spoke up in a polite manner with a look of worry in her eyes, as begging the Commission not to even remotely consider Stars and Stripes' plan. Elsewhere, not far from the meeting, a teenage girl was putting on her white uniform and beret. She grinned as she sipped her tea and sat in the center of her room. The 3rd-year student of Sei Academy looked up from her tea as she calmly witnessed a warp gate open before her. Tactic Kill slowly floated out, his metal claws outstretching from his back. The girl chuckled as she looked at him. Certainly took you long enough. The girl spoke with confidence and venom in her tone as she stared down Tactic Kill through her monocle. Taking a second sip of her tea, she raised her eyebrow at Tactic Kill. The girl once again smirked, gesturing to empty cup upon empty cup on her desk by her computer. Ever since your little global announcement a few days ago, I've been drinking nothing but tea and came to the conclusion that you or All for One would come for either myself or Nezu to steal our intelligence quirks. Tactic Kill broke out into laughter as he copied his idol's signature villainous clap. The girl copied his clap and pushed her wheeled chair towards her computer table. Inputting her password, she had a recording open of Izuku's speech during the sports festival. A few intel files on the League members hacked from the Commission mainframe, and to top it all off, a video recording of All Might's death. I've been listening and watching these on loop and reading these files over and over. Little to say, I figured out one thing about you, Izuku. You idolize not just All For One, the person, but the quirk itself. A trait I must admit I share. I've kept my mouth shut about it for years because I had presumed All For One was dead, and I was the only one who thought this way about the symbol of fear himself. So allow me to make you an offer. Instead of stealing my quirk, let me keep it. Let me join the League, and I will serve as a spy from Sei Academy during the licensing exam. I'll collect info on everyone who attends, their quirks, their weaknesses, and when I'm done I'll join the League truly. What do you say? Do we have a deal? I'm a new recruit or a new quirk? Which to pick? Tactic Kill mulled over internally before exhaling deeply, his eyes glowing slightly brighter. With those parting words, Izuku left Intelli's home through a waiting warp gate. While Tactic Kill, did it go as predicted? All For One questioned as Izuku entered his office from the warp gate. Tamura snickered as he sat at a desk playing on his phone, purposefully playing the sound effect from his Among Me game after Izuku spoke. Well, Izuku, if our games are anything to go by, you'll hunt them down before the week is out. Personally, I think Monoma is kinda sus. Izuku facepalmed, his helm groaning through his voice changer at Tamura's jokes. Izuku looked to his brother, awaiting an answer. Honestly, I've had to use the training room 10 times a day. I've found I've become so much more destructive when I use it. I don't get to do that mind control thing you can. Tamura shrugged at his younger brother with a slight smile as he won a round of Among Me against the other members of the League who were currently on standby or relaxing. So then, Tactic Kill, what is your next plan? Or do you plan on going on a traitor hunt? All For One inquired, leaning back in his chair. A few days passed by and the 4 League members sat in a room with Overhaul and his 8 bullets. So, let me get this straight. Your bosses, All For One, Tactic Kill, and Golden Fox, the people who hacked the planet and killed All Might, want us to join your group. Overhaul leaned forward, raising an eyebrow at the 4 villains who sat across from him. Gyro spoke carefully through her mask, knowing full well the capacity of Overhaul's quirk and what he's done and continues to do to a child. She hid her anger well as Overhaul began nodding. Fine, with the League's help we can accomplish our goals a lot faster. We have a deal. I'll be expecting a face-to-face meeting with your leader, Tactic Kill. He seems to be the one calling the shots besides All For One. Nodding, the 4 slowly departed Overhaul's presence after calling in a warp gate. Did you seriously mean any of that, Kyoki? Zuzu doesn't exactly seem the type to make a deal like that with a guy like that. Toga asked Gyro as the group were back at Island and the gate shut behind them. Yeah, the guy is a total creep. If it wasn't for his 8 lackeys and his stupid quirk, not to mention Izuku's orders, I'd have burned him into ashes. Dab, I grunted. Izuku wouldn't do anything like that. You guys need to have a little faith. Right, Gyro? He's gonna stab those Yakuza losers in the back knowing him. Mustard laughs, holstering his rifle on his back. Gyro sighed through her voice-altering mask as she split off from the group to head towards Izuku's office to give her report. As Gyro stepped toward the door, she could hear an aggravated mumbling. Likely Izuku plotting something. Best not to disturb him yet. But listening in couldn't hurt, could it? Okay, what in the name of All For One is wrong with you? Ugh, maybe I should just. No, that wouldn't work. Bro, stupid. Wait, maybe that'll be the answer. Yes, I just have to perform a simple. Remove that and. Yes, that's the answer in worst case scenario. You'll be brain dead like the other invalids. Kyoka, you can come in. I know you're there. Izuku coldly exclaimed towards the door as it opened for Gyro, letting her into Izuku's office and makeshift lab. As she walked in, she saw Izuku leaned over a table covered in papers next to a tube containing an unconscious Hisashi, or Project Ragnarok as Izuku liked to call it now. Izuku smirked as he spun his chair around to face Gyro, his eyes glowing their sinister black and green. Kyoka, please, you're my right hand. I gave you a copy of my office keycard for a reason. Nonetheless, I appreciate you electing to not just barge in. So how was shore leave in Japan, and how was Overhaul and his Yakuza? Smiling, Izuku looked down at a pad going through the names and quirks of various students who had attended the licensing exams, seeing who had passed and failed, even laughing at the fail beside the names Katsuki Bakugo, Momoye Urazu, and Shoto Todoroki. Kyoka twirled her earphone jack as she gave her report to Izuku, and the pair of villains grinned at each other once the report was finished. Oh, Kyoka, could you stick around for a moment? I need someone here just in case something happens. Izuku quickly looked to Gyro as he sent a text to both Seiko Intelli and Kurogiri. A warp gate opened in the office, and from it emerged Intelli, but quick as a flash several heroes rushed through the warp gate. Sorry, Tactic Kill, but I have no intent on losing my quirk after giving you that fake intel. Intelli smirked. Oh, you mean the data you sent me? Yeah, I deleted those files as soon as you sent them to me. You think I'm dumb enough to download a virus into Island just like that, even though you disguised it pretty well? Also, seriously, these are the best heroes you could get. Ugh, I don't even see a point in killing them myself. Feedback, you got the heroes right. As for Intelli, leave her to me. Cackling, Izuku launched a claw from his back at Intelli without even getting out of his seat. Gyro nodded, withdrawing her stun batons. As Gyro retorted to tactic kill, she blinked from hero to hero in a shimmer of light, striking them over and over with her batons, leaving them no room to fight back or defend against her attacks, as every time Gyro would appear from somewhere new, hit them and then vanish. Gyro laughed through her mask, standing over a pile of either deceased or unconscious heroes. Turns out you can kill someone if you electrocute their brain enough times or perform a sonic blast at extremely close range. Indeed. It even has that new quirk taste, Izuku said with a smile as he threw away the drained corpse of Seiko Intelli with a metal claw. Gyro looked over to Izuku as he finished draining the quirk from Seiko's lifeless body thanks to his 1-for-none quirk and claw pack. You honestly thought I wouldn't have spies in the commission or the other hero schools by now? I already had the data on the exams. She just revealed that there is a spy in the league, something my commission spies didn't know about, meaning whoever it is they report to the president of the commission. Plus I had Hagakure tail her and she told me everything Intelli here was plotting before I even went to try and take her quirk. Izuku smirked as he used his telekinesis to collect all the blood in the room into a floating orb of blood, pouring it away into various blood packs for Toga. Outro. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to thank our patrons: BDFLAMES, Ethan Davis, Terry Chills, Shifter Meals, Adam Zagel, Zill, XaVB3, and Joshua Phelps. Secondly, I'd also like to thank all of our YouTube members: Toy Acosta, Rob Thecking, Sithlord906, CF2364 and Knuckles, Rimu Tempest, Angel Juarez, Donald C. Stewart, Bryant Grier, and Demonized Fox. Thirdly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has you covered. Are We the Celestials, My Hero Academia, and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Fourthly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members from 16 years old to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interests by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching and have a great day.